Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dakota's Political Circle. And today I have big news for you. I know it's like a couple days old, but I am a little late posting on it. But the big news is Atlas, and by the way, this is this pollster specifically was the most accurate pollster in 2020, and I believe possibly one of the most accurate also in 2022. And they actually are predicting the swing state polls today. They had a swing state poll come out. And remember, if you guys remember, specifically, if you remember when they came out with their last national poll, it was with Trump +3. So a lot of people were anticipating the swing state polls and the swing state poll from them. And this is the swing state poll that came out, and it is amazing for Trump, except a couple weird things in it as well that I want to show you. So here's the poll entirely. So you got Michigan Trump +4, you got Pennsylvania Trump +3, you got Trump up in Wisconsin by 2, you got Trump up in Arizona by 1, you got Trump up in Georgia by 1, and then here's the weird ones. You got Harris up in Nevada by 3. I think Harris is probably up in Nevada as of right now, but I wouldn't say by 3. Then you got North Carolina. Harris up in North Carolina by 3, which is very odd to me because I really don't see North Carolina switching that much to the Dems, especially they're not going to be. I don't see North Carolina voting left of Michigan or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin. So that's a very odd one right there. But these polls right here are very good for Trump. A lot of these polls from Atlas really show that Trump can't, and also in this scenario, by the way, I'll actually show you in a minute, this can actually have a Trump victory as well. But remember, Atlas is the most accurate pollster of 2020, so this is a very big thing to see here. Now, obviously, you shouldn't just look at Atlas specifically because I know some of these are probably skewed. Like North Carolina is probably skewed. Nevada is probably skewed a little bit. These could be actually pretty accurate, possibly. I'd say Georgia votes a little bit more right. I'd say Arizona votes a little bit more right. You got Wisconsin here. That could be accurate. Then you got Pennsylvania. This is possible, but I'd say it's a little bit closer. Then you got Michigan. I don't think that's accurate, but I do think Michigan does go to Trump in the end. But it is very interesting to see because of Atlas. And to show you right here, just to show you what actually happens to the actual average because of these polls coming out. So let's go with Michigan first. So we got Michigan here. So Michigan, adding Atlas to it, even though there is a New York Times Siena, it is a Harris 1.4. So a pretty decent, not a great lead for Harris. It is a very beatable lead for Trump because if you look back at 2020, for example, Biden was leading by an average of 4.2, and he won the state. But in this scenario, Trump would win if he got that same average. If he got underestimated the same amount as in 2020. So this could actually be very good for Trump. And then let's go to Pennsylvania, a big state here. It is barely up with Harris, a 0.1 for Harris, mainly because of this Bloomberg poll. Bloomberg always posts the most liberal polls. It's like basically like Quinnipiac, and honestly, I think that's the only reason Trump isn't leading in Pennsylvania in the average right now, but it is well within the margin of error. And I would say Trump's definitely leading as of right now in Pennsylvania, but based on the average, I would say it says it is a Harris lead by 0.1. If the Bloomberg poll wasn't there, this would be a Trump lead right now. But to show you what it was in 2020, the average was exactly right. But also remember, in 2016, it was not right. In 2016, the average for Pennsylvania shifted right, and Trump won the state, like looking right here. So you never know with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is an odd state, but if it is that close, a minor shift towards Trump can be a huge momentum gain for a state like Pennsylvania. And then let's look at Wisconsin. So Wisconsin here, you got Atlas in there +2 for Trump. Harris is barely hanging on in the state of Wisconsin. And this is what I was saying. Wisconsin is going to be a state that Trump's going to easily win. If you look back at Biden, for example, he was leading by roughly 6.7, and a 0.7 was the actual final result. And Harris is only leading by 0.8 in the average. So I do think Trump does win the state of Wisconsin in the end, he's going to pretty much easily win the state. But I would say don't get complacent whatsoever. You should not get complacent on the state of Wisconsin. It is a battleground state. Every single battleground state on here, you should definitely get out the vote no matter what. But I would say that Wisconsin could be in the bag for Trump because of how much he is underestimated in the state. And if you have an Atlas poll saying Trump +2, you never know what the final result could really be. And then let's go to another one. So you got Arizona here. So let's go to Arizona. This one is pretty much up with Trump. Almost every single poll except the stupid Bloomberg polls show Trump in the lead. And then you got that Atlas poll of Trump +1. So the average is Trump +2. I would say that's pretty accurate. And I think Trump is going to pretty much win the state. It's not going to be too difficult for Trump to win the state of Arizona. Then you got Georgia. This is an interesting one, obviously, because it was won in 2020 by Biden. And also, if you look right here for Arizona, technically Biden was favored in Arizona. So I wouldn't say that was a steal, but I would say Georgia was the steal for Biden if you want to consider it. So here's Georgia right here. I think that's the next one. Yes, Georgia is the next one. And Trump's already leading in Georgia by 1.4. He's doing a pretty good job. Almost every single poll is showing a Trump lead, except for some reason the Fox News poll. Very odd that Harris is leading in the Fox News poll in Georgia, because obviously Georgia is most likely going to be going to Trump. I think it does shift a little bit to the left, but I just don't see it being 2020 numbers where Biden barely picks it off. Because Trump was actually overestimated in Georgia. But if you look right here, remember the most recent polls were +4s and +5s. It makes sense why 2020 was very much overestimated for Trump. But if you look right here, almost every single poll is showing a lead for Trump in Georgia. And then you have Nevada here. Let's look at Nevada. So you got Nevada here. It is a Harris lead by 1.3. And you have the Atlas poll in there by Harris +3, which is very odd. It is very odd to see that. But Harris is leading by 1.3, which I think is, and usually they are on par. You got to remember, they are usually on par with Nevada based on polling. I don't know how 2016 was. Let me look real quick. 2016 with polling, it was, yeah, Trump was a little bit overestimated in Nevada. So you really don't know with Nevada. And some of these polls in Nevada are very odd, so you don't really know if Trump's going to win Nevada or not. But I would say it's a possibility it shifts right. I just don't know how much it can shift right. And then there's North Carolina. When you look at North Carolina, as of right now, Trump leads in North Carolina barely, mainly because of the Atlas and Bloomberg polls. And the Bloomberg polls are just stupid, but the Atlas poll has to be an outlier. I just don't see Harris up by that much in a state like North Carolina. I would at least say believable +1. But I would say Trump's in the lead in North Carolina. And he usually, I believe, overperforms in North Carolina. Yeah, he usually overperforms in North Carolina. With Biden, he overperformed by a decent amount. So I think North Carolina is definitely going to Trump no matter what. But those are the states in general on the averages after Atlas. And then I also want to show right here what it would look like if you base it off of this Atlas poll. Would Trump win the election? So let's go with the easy ones. So Washington, Oregon, California. You got Hawaii, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, D.C., Maryland, all of these smaller states. Let's give Maine, and then Maine's first, and then you got Nebraska second in there. And then let's give New York, Illinois. If I miss any, I will go back. New Mexico, Colorado, and let's just give them Virginia. And then let's do Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. You got all of these states. And South Dakota, North Dakota. I almost put Minnesota there. That's supposed to be blue. And then Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Alaska. All of these red states here. And I just don't want to miss any. I accidentally missed. So I believe these are all the states that were in the poll. So based on this, it's 219 to 226. Now let's base it off of the poll. So let's say Trump wins Michigan by +4. So he wins Michigan. He wins Pennsylvania. He doesn't win the election yet. And then you got Wisconsin going to Trump. Trump doesn't win the election yet so far. And then there's Arizona going to Trump. That's winning the election right there for Trump already. And then you got Georgia going to Trump. and then you got Nevada going to Harris and North Carolina going to Harris. These two would be Harris, so it would be 290 to 248. An interesting scenario, but I wouldn't say it's likely. But Trump would win the election, and if the Atlas poll is correct, Trump would win the election in pretty much, I wouldn't say a landslide, but he wins comfortably in this scenario. Now, if it was more accurate, I would probably say Trump wins North Carolina. He probably loses Nevada in a more of a sense of if you look at past polling. And then if you add all of these states, I think it's possible he could win all of the states in the Rust Belt. I see him winning North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona. There's just no chance he loses Arizona, Georgia, or North Carolina. Nevada is probably the only outlier here that can actually be very much lost because of Harris being on the ticket and not Biden. But then you got like Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. These states are very much tied in the aggregate. But if you base it off the Atlas poll, he wins every single one. And I think Trump can win every single one if you did base it off the Atlas poll. And I wouldn't say he would win Nevada, though, in this scenario. But it would be a 306 to 232, in my opinion. I think the North Carolina one is very much an outlier in this poll. I just don't see Trump losing North Carolina, especially by that much. And Trump always overperforms in North Carolina. So that's the only outlier I see in this poll. So if you took that outlier out, this would be the scenario that would happen in the election, which I think this scenario is very, very possible. This scenario is possible to happen. And I'm going to be honest, it could happen. And even if you said like Wisconsin, Michigan went to Harris, then Trump still wins. It just doesn't matter. And then give Wisconsin, you give Michigan to Harris, he still wins. It's just that simple. But if you did base it off the Atlas poll, let's just give her North Carolina, and this would be the scenario right here. Very interesting. If I saw this after Election Day, I'd be happy, but very confused with North Carolina. In Nevada, I wouldn't be that confused because they always vote Democrat, but they have shifted more right in recent memory. But this would be the scenario based on the Atlas poll. But I did want to talk to you guys about that today. Atlas, the most accurate pollster of 2020. So I thought it was a good pollster and poll to talk about. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content. I just wanted to say, I already posted the video already, but thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. It means so much to me. I'm so happy you guys are enjoying it, enjoying the content specifically. But I also wanted to add on the video, if you haven't looked at my discussion thread, I did post a discussion thread. I'm not going to say this at every time I'm at the end of my video, but I just wanted to mention it if you guys haven't got the message yet. I just wanted to say that because of 500 subscribers, you can do a super thanks in the comments if you really want to, which means if you go below the video, you can actually donate to me, or you can donate and put a comment and it'll actually highlight the comment. So I'll definitely see your comment. So there's a super thanks. That's because I made 500 subscribers. And then there's also super chats, but that's for live streams specifically. It's basically the same concept except you're on a live stream instead. I could see it live. And then there's the discussion thread that I talked about, the discussion board thread, whatever you want to call it, on my channel where I can post. It's actually called it's called community. I think it's called community something. But it's basically the community button where you can see all the posts that I post. I call it the discussion thread because it's kind of like a discussion thread when I used to go to school. But I just wanted to talk about that. And also, if you guys wanted merch, I can't do merch until I'm at 1,000 subscribers. I actually checked. You can't link merch like on the actual channel itself until you hit 1,000 subscribers. So I did want to mention that as well, if any of you were even interested in like getting merch or anything like that. And obviously I'm not like trying to prioritize that at all. I just wanted to mention it because I've heard like from friends of mine that are actually following the channel, they're actually kind of interested in that type of thing. So I just wanted to mention that in general anyway, but I don't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to mention that specifically. I'm not going to mention that every time at the end of the video. I might mention little things, but I'm not going to mention that like I did in this video. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm not sure when my next video will be out, but you just got to look out for it. It'll be coming anytime soon. But please like, share, comment. Please subscribe. That is a very important thing for this channel. Please subscribe. It'll mean so much to me, guys. And it is awesome seeing your comments. It's really amazing. I always see your comments, guys, and I love responding to them. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.